Robert Burke. Welcome to episode number 32 of When to Play. And today we're going to be talking about a very successful but a very controversial card game called Cards Against Humanity. This is a party game and it could not be simpler. The rules are you could teach this to anybody in about 3 minutes. So to talk about the quality of the components, the graphic design, that kind of stuff. The graphic design is, as you can see, it's very simple. There is no artwork. It is just white text on black, or it's black text on white. It's very clean. It serves its purpose very well. It's just a very minimalist design with the Helvetica font. So it's not really pushing any boundaries design-wise, but it works perfect and it looks good. So no issues with the graphic design. I think it's perfect for what it is. The quality of the cards are really good. You'll see that's the back. Again, just the Helvetica font. And then on the other side you have a word and Cards Against Humanity logo on the bottom of the card. And that's it. But the cards are nice. They're thick, coated, linen finished cards, so they're really high quality. And the game is actually printed in America, which is rare these days. So that's a good thing too. If that's something you care about, that's something to consider as well. The game is printed in America, and it's a very high quality game as far as the quality of the components. Now, Cards Against Humanity, as I said, is a party game. There is not strategy here. If you are somebody who only likes to play strategy games, if you dislike party games, then this is not going to be something for you. Further, if you are somebody who is easily offended, or if you are prudish, this is a game you want to avoid. It can become very risque, and it can really walk a line between funny and offensive. So it really appeals to college students, to people who don't mind getting raunchy with their party games. This fits that niche probably better than any game out there. Now, the game was a Kickstarter game. I saw it at the time. I did not back it. It raised, I think it was around $16,000 or something. But since it's been kickstarted, it's gone on to become one of the top-selling games. It is the top-selling game in toy, I think, on Amazon.com. They have sold, I don't know how many of these, but I think we're talking hundreds of thousands maybe now. So the guys who created this are a true Kickstarter success story. They have made millions of dollars on this game, and it is it seems to be growing and growing and growing even today. So it's a hugely successful game, and it's very popular. Now, as far as the mechanics of the game, they are not groundbreaking. They are not new. It's basically a dirty version of Apples to Apples is really what the game is. You are going to have a hand of cards. You know, here's a death ray. Here's the glass ceiling. A cooler full of organs. Not wearing pants. When you fart and a little bit comes out. So it's these kind of words and statements that they're either witty, or they're offensive, or they're somewhere in between. So the writing in the game is what makes it so funny. Now you're going to have black cards as well, and so one player is going to be picked as the card czar, and they're going to read one of the black cards. It's going to be like a question like this, where you're going to pick one of your answer cards to play with it. So this one is, what's that smell? So if the card czar said, what's that smell, and played this card, you would look through your cards and you would pick the one that you think is the funniest, or that is going to get the card czar. You think the card czar is going to pick it. So maybe I would select an elderly Japanese men. Elderly Japanese men. So the question is, what's that smell? And my answer is elderly Japanese men. So you can see how this game can go. It can get pretty crazy, and it can be hilarious. It can be offensive. Some people are very turned off to it because there's sexual innuendos in the game. There are things that you can construe as racist in the game. It can push the envelope depending on what cards you put together. So keep that in mind. If you're offended easily, this is something you really don't want to purchase. It is absolutely not for children. If you have children, this is not something you want to play with them, period. It's for, I think it says, yeah, 17 and up is on the box, and you need to keep it 17 and up for sure. So the other flavor card is where you will pick two of your answer cards. Like this one, this black card says, rumor has it that Vladimir Putin's favorite delicacy is blank stuffed with blank. So maybe I would, play these two cards. So I would say, rumor has it that Vladimir Putin's favorite delicacy is poor people stuffed with Go-Gurt. So you can see the game can get it can get very hilarious, and that's why it's been so successful. It's taken the world kind of by storm because of the word combinations that you can put together. Now again, the mechanics are basically just apples to apples, but the words just push the envelope, and it's become a huge game because of that. You'll see this played at conventions late at night with people, and it appeals to people outside the gaming world, right? It appeals to people that don't play games at all. If you've got friends who would laugh at those kinds of things that I've just showed you, then this is a game that you can play with them. If they've never played games at all, they can have a good time with it. And that's another reason why this has been so successful. This is the rule book. And half of the rule book are house rules, which are variants of the game that you can play. So really the rules are on this one page. Very simple. That's another reason this game has been successful. You can teach it in a heartbeat and start playing. And it plays up to a ton of people. It plays from 4 to 20 or more people. So once everybody has picked their card during a round to go on one of the black cards, the card czar is going to collect all those and shuffle them up, and then he's going to read them out loud one at a time. That card czar is going to pick the one that he or she thinks is the best, the most funny, whatever reason they have for picking it, and whoever's card they pick, that person gets a point. So they get to keep that black card as a point. Now, as with most party games, the scoring doesn't even really matter, right? You're not really playing Cards Against Humanity to win. You're playing Cards Against Humanity to have those laugh out loud moments where these combinations come together, and it pushes the envelope and makes you laugh. Winning is really an afterthought. But at the same time, it feels good when your card gets picked, right? It does. Even though, it's not like you won because you're smart or because you came up with a funny word that fits. It's based on what you have in your hand, and if you combine it with the black card, if it's really the funniest one, you're gonna win. So, but players still get a sense of, wow, yeah, that was a good one. That felt good that I won that round. But really, it's just a random putting together of these offensive terms to try and laugh as a group, and it does that very well. So with that being said, again, if you don't like party games, then this isn't going to change your mind. If you're offended easily, this is not something you're going to enjoy at all. If you're not offended easily and you enjoy party games and you are looking for something to play with people who are not gamers, then this is something you really need to try and pick up. Now, a big problem with Cards Against Humanity is the replayability. Obviously, once you go through all the black cards, once you go through and you can go through every card in the game in one session, right? So after you play Cards Against Humanity a few times even, if you play it up to 10 times, if you play it 10 or more times, it really loses its luster because you've seen all the cards already and you kind of know what's coming, and it's, a joke isn't as funny the second, third, fourth time you hear it, right? And when you start hearing the same joke 4, 5, 6 times, it's not funny anymore. So it's the same thing here, but the price point's pretty low. I think you pick this up for $25 on Amazon.com, And they do have expansions. I think they have 3 expansions now that add cards, and I think they're like $10 a piece. So I think that's another pretty brilliant business thing for the people producing this game. Now I don't know if they planned it that way, but to keep this fresh, you are going to need to buy expansions in the future. That's good for them because they're going to be able to sell more cards. They've kind of created their own little industry and business that's going to be perpetual for quite a while, I think. But if you're buying the game, just know that it's not something you're going to get a lot of replayability out of. But they have expansions, so you can keep it fresh if you're willing to buy more cards down the road. And again, they're pretty cheap. The expansions are about $10, so it's pretty fair. They also offer cards for free, a print and play version of the game online if you want to print them out yourself and try it before you go out and buy the full version. Alright, so as we usually do here on When to Play, let's look at some of the comments and ratings people have left for Cards Against Humanity on Board Game Geek. Now, this is a game that is controversial, and you're going to see big swings. There's people that hate this game with a passion, and there are people that love this game with a passion. So it is really, there's not much gray area in this game. If you hate it, you hate it. If you love it, you love it. So let's look at some of the ratings. Now it's rated, it's not even rated the #1 party game on Board Game Geek. It's the number 32 party game on Board Game Geek. But again, remember, this is the best-selling game on Amazon.com. It has been for a while. It is probably one of the biggest party games out there. Maybe Apples to Apples and some of those big mass market games do better than Cards Against Humanity does. But for an indie game developer to sell as many units as they're selling is pretty huge. So let's look at some of the ratings, people who have rated it a 1, which is the lowest rating you can give a game on Board Game Geek, and there's plenty of them. So let's see. So Ted says, Apples to Apples gone bad. You need to be under 20 and kind of clueless in terms of games to like this. Matt says, this blatant ripoff of Apples to Apples is devoid of any socially redeeming value. It's only a small, and I mean minimally small, step above kiddie porn or snuff films. If I could have rated it a -10, I would have. But the rating system doesn't allow anything below 1. So, again, if you're offended easily, if you don't like potty humor, you're not going to like this. If it bothers you that the mechanics are basically apples to apples with different, more offensive words, then you're not going to like this. Absolutely. So, if you feel like Matt does about some of the, the offensive words that are going to be in this game, it's something you want to avoid. I kind of like to describe Cards Against Humanity as it's Tosh 2.0 in a card game format. So I don't know if you've ever seen that show. I think it's on Comedy Central, Tosh 2.0, where he really kind of pushes the limit of comedy. Then that's what this is. So I think it's worth looking at some more of these ones, because there's a bunch of them to choose from. Aaron says, some things shouldn't ought to be games. Ill-conceived garbage should be treated as such. Then B.W. Ridge says, one of the more wretched gaming experiences I've experienced. Billed as an X-rated Apples to Apples. The shock value wore off pretty quickly, and the fun even quicker, leaving not much of a game. Avoid. So, yeah, he touches on something that I mentioned, that there's not a lot of replay. Even if you are not offended easily, even if you love this game and have a great time playing it and laugh out loud, it's gonna wear down quick. It's not gonna last that long, because once you go through the jokes, you know the jokes, right? So you're gonna have to continue to invest in new expansions if you want to continue to play this game and have the same amount of fun that you did when you first played it. Now let's look at some of the people who've rated it a 10. Like I said, there's a lot of 1s, but there's a lot of 10s too. So Josh says, as a game, this is absolutely horrible. As a chance to spend time with friends laughing at offensive stuff, this is bloody brilliant. Josh makes a good point again. Again, it's not about scoring points. wins. But you feel good when you do score a point, but it doesn't matter who wins, right? You're looking for those hilarious moments that the game provides. Eric Johnson says, gaming. This game gets a 10 because it's brilliant on several levels. It's the only game that has ever made me laugh so hard I pulled a muscle. Rob says, I never laughed so much playing this. Definitely not a game for everybody. Jack says, these are all 10s again. Play while drunk. Play while getting drunk. Play with complete strangers. If they stay, they are now friends. This game brings out the best and worst in people. It's the most hilarious, laugh until you're weeping and your ribs hurt game ever. So, if you like Tosh 2.0, if you like some of the cards that I've read to you, if that kind of potty humor and witty, on the line humor is something that you enjoy and laugh at, then this is something that's really going to make you laugh and have a good time. But again, on the downside, the replayability is small. But for $25, I mean, that's, for 10 people, that's a lot cheaper than a night out at the movies, right? So definitely, I hope this review has helped you determine whether Cards Against Humanity is for you. I think it's pretty clear cut. If you like party games and are not easily offended, it's definitely for you. If you are easily offended or do not enjoy party games, this is not for you. So my name is Robert Burke. This was episode number 32 of When to Play, and we'll be back soon with episode number 33. Thanks for watching.